Before we jump into this clip, I want to set things up for a little bit. One of the things I've always found beautiful about Christian spirituality is how earthy it is. It doesn't shy away from the physical or the ordinary. It actually embraces all of it. And this word that we sometimes use, a sacrament, it can sound a little formal or old-fashioned, but really at its heart, there's something profoundly important about what sacrament tells us. It tells us this idea that God's grace isn't just something we think about or believe in, it's something that we actually experience. It's not just in church or in prayer or in our heads, but it's in bread and wine and water and community and all of the stuff of life that we encounter God's self. And so in this part of a sermon that I did recently, I got to talk about how the sacred and the everyday aren't as far apart as we sometimes imagine. That maybe the divine is showing up in places we've just stopped paying attention to. And if you've ever wondered where God is in that real, tangible life that you live, where God could be in your meals and your friendships and your routines, sacraments is actually a pretty good place to start.
Sacrament. It's a beautiful word, an old word, a very religious sounding word. And how it's defined often varies from tradition to tradition. But for me, the core idea of sacrament is this conviction that holds all of these 5 conversations together in mind. It's simply this: the grace of God is communicated not only in ideas, but also maybe even primarily through our experiences as human beings. Sacrament is the conviction that mundane, ordinary, everyday objects, things we might interact with 1,000 times throughout the week and never blink an eye, can also be conduits for grace. And in that sense, for me, sacraments are an extension of one of our core convictions as Christians. God was present in the life of Jesus. God can be present in bread and grape and water and community. Because this is what we call incarnation. The idea that God is not just an idea. The divine is present with us, around us, surrounding us in ways that we can touch and taste and smell and hold all the time if we reach out. Which is why, reaching all the way back to Easter morning, resurrection is so important to the Christian story. Faith doesn't live just in some ethereal intellectual simulation of reality. Faith exists in what you can touch and taste, what you can hold on to, how we can care for each other. Because God inhabits this world precisely because God loves this world. And that means God loves you, loves your neighbor, loves your body, loves the food that you feed it and the earth that it grows from, loves all the ways that we can learn to embrace and care for all of it. Because incarnation shows us that to be human can even still somehow be divine. And the sacraments remind us that the very stuff of our lives are where we encounter God's self. And if we can even begin to live as if that is true, then perhaps we could find ourselves in a completely new, almost foreign, strange new world, even right where we are.